Top Gun Maverick is the sequel to the cult classic Top Gun and is considered to be everyone's dad's favorite movie. But the question is, will the sequel be ours? Well, let's talk about it. This time around, Joseph Kosinski takes the helm as director and attempts to continue on the original tale first introduced to us by the late Tony Scott. It's been 30 years since the original Top Gun, and Pete Mitchell, aka Maverick, is still captain after all these years. Turns out he's been spending time testing out planes and reliving the thrill of the good old days. Well, it looks like the upper honchos of command want to shut it down because in 2022, human pilots will soon become a relic. But what great timing in the wake of firing him do they find use for Maverick for one last job, and that is, you guessed it, to train new recruits to become Top Gun for a dangerous mission. Tom Cruise returns, of course, as Maverick, and he carries this movie like it's nobody's business. And there's so much more depth in his character as well. It's also interesting to see Maverick outside of his element. In the first film, he was like this overzealous smartass. And now we actually have him looking a bit out of place. He's accepted the fact that he hasn't been promoted after all this time, and you can sort of kind of see the look of shame in his face. When he talks about belonging somewhere, it feels so evasive to what he's actually thinking. And I'm not criticizing at all, but I think I can appreciate how we got Maverick in a space where he's sort of having a midlife crisis. It was a much layered version of Maverick this go around, and I actually appreciated that. There's also, of course, the callbacks to old soundtracks from the last movie. Lots of other member berries as well to bank on you for having that nostalgia crave. What I did respect, though, was that none of these Easter eggs felt like just typical fan service. The film found nice ways to use those as story moments to give the story more weight. Now, as far as the Top Gun Trainees 2.0, this could have been the time, like most sequels, where the film takes the turn for the worse. You know, like new generation telling old man jokes and walking around with this entitled sense of self without really giving the audience a reason to really respect them. Or worse yet, prepping the audience for some TED Talking lecture scene about how progressive the world needs to be or something. Let alone giving the audience a real reason why they're here in the first place. And thank the Lord that we actually have a sequel where it avoids all of that. Trainees 2.0 are actually introduced pretty well. The casting sticks the landing. The performances are good. There's like 12 people that are like the new recruits, but the film only gives us like maybe 4 or 5 to really focus on, which is thank God. Miles Teller as Goose's son Rooster was the standout, of course. This man looks like Goose reincarnated. It made me want to call up Anthony Edwards and run a DNA test. Like, seriously. I actually liked Hangman as well. He's brash, overconfident, and he's clearly the alpha in the group. But what I like about Glenn Powell's performance is that he gives the right kind of confidence that makes us appreciate it when Maverick is humbling him, like while in the air. Now, what I thought was a great idea was that this movie still follows the same formula of the original Top Gun to an extent. But I like how when the new kids come in and start bragging on how great they are and how they're the best of the best, this movie could have easily stuck with that and made them, made it that Maverick is the one that needs to listen to them and maybe learn from them. You know how some movies are doing nowadays, like kind of the old school listening to the new school. And I'm so glad that they don't do that like at all. Fake Tom Cruise. I don't know. I think the best idea this film did was pretty much take these 12 knuckleheads and have Tom Cruise put them to their limits and show them the meaning of teamwork and really grind them out so we can see where the flaws are. And I thought that was just a great lesson in pretty much anything really, because literally everybody has a limit. But with Maverick teaching these kids, it almost gave the sequel a chance to explore the guilt and the struggle of Maverick's character. Maverick is still haunted by the loss of his friend Goose from the old movie. And throughout the film, we discovered just how and why Maverick hasn't moved on in the last 30 years, which then creates the best rivalry I've seen in film to date. The Rooster and Maverick scenes were dramatic, gripping, authentic, emotional. Yes, I cried. Don't judge me. But all of this bringing a well-earned third act that was just so satisfying. And the action scenes, they were just the best. No CGI, no green screen, all real planes, real actual footage of these planes just doing what they do. It just made the viewing experience all the more gratifying. And big ups to Tom Cruise and his love for big stunts and real practical effects to give the audience a ticket worth seeing. Especially in the third act, like when they're flying those planes, like you can really get a feel for the effort it takes to really fly these things in the air. And I don't know what training they actually have to go through, but seeing actual camera footage of them sort of just turning and hurling and really, like, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I almost had a heart attack. I just got everything I ever wanted in this movie, and I'm not even the biggest Top Gun fan. This film just gives you something that you just don't see anymore. If there's anything to say about it just resting on nostalgia points, I'd argue that it's nostalgia to remind you that once upon a time, there were great ideas in movies. But wait, before I forget, Val Kilmer shows up in this film as well, and he performs with the little strength he has left. And that scene, man, look, I don't well up in a lot of movies, but watching that scene, it just couldn't be helped. Okay, I just couldn't help myself. How they were able to still give a heartfelt moment between Ice and Maverick, I have no words. This was, without a doubt, one of the best sequels I've ever seen. And I'm not saying this is the best movie I've ever seen, but akin to like sequels, like say The Godfather 2, Terminator 2, The Dark Knight, Top Gun Maverick joins the fray. And with all that being said, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, I highly recommend this movie. It's a great blockbuster, and it's not as explosive as like your typical action movie. But I did have such a fun time with this, and you know what? I think you will too. But that's it for my review. I hope you guys like this video. Top Gun, I really had a great time with it. So let me know what you guys think, if you guys saw it, and what's your favorite scene in the movie, and did you like this movie better than the first one? And if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. And if you love this video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Okay? Peace.